In today's live stream video, I'm going to discuss with my guest his reselling business, and he'll explain how we can make big profits selling ball and truckers caps. He'll share his tips and strategies to help make us more successful and profitable resellers. Every Wednesday, I have a live stream, and I usually interview another reseller, and I have them share their tips, tricks, and techniques to make us more knowledgeable and profitable resellers. So if you're a reseller or interested in reselling, then you're in the right place. Going to pop in the chat, say hello to a few people, and we shall get started very shortly, guys. Appreciate you being here. I know Randy was here, my moderator. Randy, I appreciate you being here and helping out. Hello, Lisa. Always good to see you. Appreciate you being here. Who else? Just a couple more people filling in. So, like I said, I don't like to keep the people waiting and they're watching the replay. So, we'll get started. We did do some, social media promoting, so I'm sure the chat will be filling in very shortly. So, let me get in and bring on my guest and have him introduce himself. Hello, sir.
Hey, what's going on?
For those of you that don't know, this is the Cap Guy or Bobby. Bobby, why don't you introduce yourself to the people in the chat?
I am the Cap Guy. I live in Yukon, Oklahoma, home of Garth Brooks, and this was my first U.S. Navy ship that I served on in Charleston, South Carolina, 79 to 80, late 80. And then I switched over to the West Coast to the aircraft carrier. Yeah, there you go. Man, I could never get a hat right in the thing. But anyway, served a couple of years. Carter and Reagan were my presidents when I was in the military, and went around the world and enjoyed it. And then I came home and played poker professionally. I'm kidding. Professionally. Anyway. So, I'm a full-time reseller, retired UPS freight sales almost 4 years ago. And now I'm full-time, and I wear myself out with almost 5,000 items on eBay. And I sell everything, not just ball caps. Ball caps is probably the second thing I know the most about. Jerseys would be number one. That's what I started with. But I don't find them as much anymore as I do other things. So,
right.
Video games, ball caps, plush, Mary Kay when I find it.
Okay, so I hear that. I hear Mary Kay and some of these other I don't know what to call them. What do you call those things? Mary Kay and not Avon so much, but those things, niches that people sell home to home. They're difficult to get, I guess, when the sellers are tired of selling, they're not making enough money, and they liquidate their supplies. You can come in and get a great deal. I'm
just going to switch hats here for a little bit. This one's Hawaii volcanoes. Yeah, I mean, as we know, a lot of times, if any of y'all are like me, I get lucky sometimes and I just stumble upon things. Mm-hmm. I get curious about unique things when I see them at yard sales. And sometimes if they're cheap enough, I will grab them and take a chance. I'm one of the people that when I'm at a yard sale, when I watch other YouTubers and they're walking, I love to watch people yard selling. But unlike most, I don't slow down and slowly film everything. I'm in a hurry because I get there early. I try to beat everybody there because there's so many people doing it.
And no early birds, Bobby.
Oh, I mean, it's still dark. And
You're not an early bird. You snooze, you lose, right?
That's right. And I go out on Thursday and Friday. I run around, but I try to beat everybody. And when I'm running. I don't take people that are slow with me. If you want to, I run through. I'm looking for specific items. And then if I see something that catches my eye, I grab it. And then I'm off to the next one because some places in Oklahoma where I live, there may be a neighborhood with 150 homes with yard sales on a weekend.
Holy cow.
And I want to hit them all, at least as many as I can until I fill up my car. So not everybody does that, especially when you're a YouTuber and you're wanting to film it to share with everybody. I've always been bad about sharing the garage sale videos. I always come home and show what I got. But I need to do a better job of that. So, but I do make pretty good money doing it, but I work a lot, as most of you know. If you do this full time, even part time, what the effort it takes to be successful at it.
I know Harry Humstone. Harry's usually in my chat. I'm sure he'll be in later. He's in Delaware, and he goes. I mean, he might travel 100 miles in the course of a Saturday, and he's looking for very specific things. And then what he does, what you said, he'll do like an after, show about what he picked up. But I mean, he's very in the collectibles and antique kind of things. But I mean,
Right.
he'll pick up other things as well. But I mean, I remember when I had Bobby on a pretty long time ago, so I'm glad he was kind enough to come back on again.
Back when I was in my 20s.
Yeah, when you're 20s. You said something though, but you always ask for certain things. I mean, I know a lot of people ask for video games, so you always ask before you leave. You just say something to the yard sale person if they have certain things. Yes, if they have ball caps or trucker caps, or what do you do?
The first thing I do when I walk up to a yard sale is I engage the people, and that goes a long way with not only building a rapport. If maybe they're in a bad mood, if it's early and they weren't supposed to start yet, hey, are you open yet? And a lot of times they'll go, give me about 5 minutes. I'm still setting up. No problem. And you just converse with them, and you're friendly with them, not only just to be because it is the right thing to do, but because it may help you in the end. Because I can tell you that when I walk up to 10 yard sales on average, if I ask for video games, ball caps, or action figures, at least 2 out of the 10 times that I ask, they didn't have them out there, and they will go in the house and come out with them. And it's a very successful tool, but a lot of people not everybody's outgoing and wants to ask those questions or push, but I found so many good deals just by asking if I don't see it initially when I get there. And again, engage them, be friendly. How you doing? Cold day to be doing this, or too hot to be doing that. I mean, just whatever it is that you can engage them with, and joke with them, and you'll probably get a good deal. I like to bundle, and bundling is huge again for me. And I want to get the best deal I can and buy it in bulk.
For those of the people that watch my show, and I know right now they're supposed to see the regulars, I'm sure we'll get some more people watching the replay. I say that all the time. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything to be friendly. I mean, a lot of times I wake up in the morning, I'm half asleep, I got a sinus headache, so I got to beat the competition. But you just say, "Hi, how you doing? Is it all right if I look around? Boy, I'm glad it didn't rain last night. I guess it's difficult setting up when it's so hot out." Just small talk. Just make small talk. Right. Like Bobby says, you're kind of building a little bit of rapport. So in my mind, I'm thinking, hey, if I can build a little rapport with them, maybe I can bundle, or maybe I can get a discount. Sometimes it doesn't work, but what's it cost you? You're going to talk to the person for 2 minutes?
Yeah.
And then hopefully you can get some, like you said, get some kind of bundle deal.
I saw Jarhead made a comment, and of course he knows that the Marines work for the Navy, right? So just wanted to clarify that. And I am from Texas there, buddy. I just live in Oklahoma. He knows that. So yeah, in 2 years ago when I decided to go full time, I wasn't full time the whole year. I finally decided to try to see how much I could actually make doing one-offs. I quit going to Goodwills and thrift stores. I really just deal with estate sales, yard sales, sometimes a little bit of Facebook. I don't do a lot of RA, although I will. I did 98,000 in 2020 in sales, and I think I profited like 39,000. Okay. Well, this last year, I just did my taxes this weekend. I did 119,000 in sales, and I think I profited like 43,000. So
you're up roughly 20%.
Yeah, probably
a little less than profit, but yeah.
My thinking is that I'm going to slow down some because I am working so hard 7 days a week doing this.
Right.
And sometimes, and you got to also remember, I do keep some of the stuff that I pick too. I mean, I have a GameCube collection growing pretty large, and I find them and then I want to keep them, and I don't even game, but I have every gaming console you can name because I have to test them.
Right.
So I invest in it.
This Lisa, that I can't put pro tip. I can't put my banner and put your comment up at the same time. That's a pro tip. Admiring the seller's dog usually goes a long way. Believe me, some people love their pets better than more than their children. So if I ever see a pet or a dog, and I'm very careful because some dogs they don't want you to come up to them. I put my hands down and I'm not aggressive or anything. I say, oh, you got a beautiful dog there, and what's her name, or what's his name, or what kind of breed is that? Absolutely, Lisa, it goes a long, long way.
Well, unless you're somebody like Angie who has that Ollie dog, and he tells her he gets on the clothes when it's time to quit listing. I saw her post yesterday. I couldn't pass on that post yesterday.
Right. Okay.
I'm just
So
switching every few minutes.
so now you said you're not really sourcing it at thrift stores. You're sourcing at yard sales. You have a little longer yard sale season than here. Here I say it's probably basically April to October.
Yeah, I mean, ours really will start here in March in another week or so. I mean, there's been a
Okay.
couple here and there, but it will start soon. And then we'll have town-wide sales and 100-mile yard sales. Duncan, Oklahoma has supposedly the largest yard sale in July every year. It's in kind of southwest central Oklahoma.
Okay.
And I've been to it 2 years in a row, and it is huge. Almost every home seems to have a yard sale. It's the home of Halliburton. And so when
Okay.
these out of town sales go, I go because when you go to the rural communities is where you're going to find the vintage ball caps, the three stripers, the things that you want that are going to make some really good money. And then of course other things too, not just
Right.
that. But
So that's where I'm sorry. Go ahead.
the reason I like ball caps is because the ROI on a ball cap is so good because any kind of ball cap is going to get you at least $9 or $10. And if you paid a quarter, 50 cents or $1 for it, that's a good return. But most of mine that I sell go for in excess of $15 to $25. And a lot of them go in that $40 range. So, and there are of course examples that'll go $2,000, $3,000 if you find the right hats.
So again, I know it varies depending upon what the hat is, and we'll get in a little bit more into the specifics and the brands to look for and the types of things to look for. But in general, what rule of thumb, what would you say we'd pay for in a thrift store for a ball cap if it was in decent condition?
At a thrift store like a Goodwill, it used to be. I haven't been in one in a long time, but it used to be $202,
right,
or $232
right.
now. But at the bins, you may pay 18 cents for a ball cap, and you just snag all the ball caps that you can get your hands on and then filter through them, because if they're no good or they're not worth anything, you got 18 cents a piece invested. But at yard sales, you're typically going to pay a quarter to maybe $2. Rarely will you pay more than that for a ball cap at a yard sale.
Well, again, and I can't physically do. I hope one day I can do some more of the Goodwill bins. But the thing with Goodwill bins is, you bring the reseller's best friend, the big blue IKEA bag, right?
Right.
So you have that. You just grab stuff, throw it in your bag, and then you can always, go over to your cart and sort through it and put the stuff back you don't want.
Yeah. And filter through it and see what's worth. Again, right. Ball caps being so cheap, I'm probably going to take them home and filter through them there.
Okay.
Or in a estate sale, a lot of the foam will be coming out of some of the old ones. And depending on what's on the front of it, if it's just beyond any help or the plastic band in the back is broke, then it's probably not got any value unless there's something really good on it.
Right.
I just bought these from a friend that got them at Goodwill, and he sold me a bunch of them. All these for $30, and some of these, I'll show them to you real quick.
Right.
This is a vintage Kansas City Chiefs one. This one is about a $45 cap on eBay if you look it up.
Wow, how about that?
I was surprised. This one's a 1993 Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer snapback. This one's an Operation Desert Storm. Thank you for your service. And this one I've got this one listed at $85 on eBay. It's not sports specialties, but sports specialties caps are really valuable hats. This one is brand new.
Really?
Okay. And it's 1985, as you can see.
Wow.
It's in perfect condition. The foam and everything's really good in it. This one's an older hat. Now, if you find a Pepsi with 3 stripes and a bottle cap on the top, you're looking at a $1,500, $1,600 ball cap. Matter of fact, the guy I got this from found 2 of them. And then this one is a K Products. Anything agricultural, John Deere or Caterpillar or Case or any of that kind of stuff. But K brands or K Products in the snap right here is what you're looking for, or Louisville Manufacturing will be your Redman tobaccos, kind of stuff like that. Those can go for good money. And if they had the 3 stripes on the side, then they're really valuable. And if anybody wants me to expand on the 3 stripes, I will. But
yeah, I was going to ask you to expand on that because again, I was here in Oklahoma, but how common is it to find those 3 stripe kind of hats?
It's not that common. I mean, you will find them, but this is a 3 stripe. This is the Group Alabama.
Okay.
I actually got this from Kevin, Commonwealth Picker.
Gotcha.
and I've got it listed on eBay. But 3 stripes means 3 claw stripes on the side. It could be Pepsi. It could be, if it's Harley Davidson or I've seen one U.S. Marine Corps one go in excess of $1,500. Now, it's all about what's on here as well, because people collect their memories as everything on eBay. People buy stuff. I had a guy buy a model kit from me yesterday, and he goes, I had this as a teen. I never put it together. I'm glad you listed it because I've been looking for this forever, and I got it out of an old storage thing. So it always makes you feel good when you can find stuff that people cherished as a child that they either had or they wanted to share with their grandkids. And so, or that they remember, you know, for me, shows like Leave It to Beaver, I want to collect that stuff because I love that show. I'm old. So, you know, that's kind of what we do. And hey, Jeff. So again, ball caps, there's some value there, and you're rarely going to have returns. I mean, we deal with clothes and video games and all those things, but ball caps, I think I've had 1 return in all the time I've ever sold one. I mean, it's just, there's not much in the way of returns.
I guess occasionally they might come to you and say, oh, maybe it's a little less, but worse condition than I expected. Can you give me a little bit of a discount or something? And
yeah, but I mean, I've never had it happen
returns,
once.
Right.
Only once have I ever had a return on them. So again, the return on investment is really good, and you're going to make good money on them. Now I do have probably, I'd say 700 listed. So you're not going to sell them all right away, but it just takes that right one to go and make your money. The key to selling anything when you bundle is to make your money back first and quickly as you can, and then the rest is profit. So I keep spreadsheets on specific buys. When I buy like a lot of video games, I'll put up a spreadsheet, $300, 150 games. And then once I hit that mark, everything else that I use as a cost of goods is zero because it's all profit at that point. So,
so you'll just do average cost averaging. You'll say average cost of goods is $2 per unit, whatever. Yeah. Okay. Chris has a question here. Let me put that up there.
I do have a video, Chris, on that. It's actually my trailer. A lot of them, if you'll take it and just immerse it in water, the foam will fall out of them. I don't wash them in a machine. I don't put them in my dishwasher. I do them by hand. I use a lot of OxyClean, Dawn soap, maybe a toothbrush or a light scrub sponge. But a lot of times if the foam's really bad, if you immerse it in water and then just rub the foam that's deteriorated, it'll fall right out of it. And then I just hang dry the hats. Some people will form them to a head or they'll put paper in them or something. I don't do that. I just hang them off the faucet in the kitchen or something and then form fit them to my head while they're still a little bit wet, and then just put them back on it and sell them. It depends on the hat and the value of the hat too.
Okay, so once you get into a little bit in detail, but you said you wash them in the sink. Do you have like a dish pan full of water with Dawn and OxyClean, or do you just spray it and then scrub it? I mean, what's your process?
Some people will put them in a tub, a bunch of them, and do that. But you got to be careful because if you put in white with red, you're going to have, blending colors.
Right.
And
I've run some kind of bleeds. The red color will bleed in. Okay.
So it don't have to be hot water. Just put in some, cold to lukewarm water. Throw in some Dawn, some OxyClean, and then where you may have some stains on it or something, just scrub that area. It depends on how fragile the cap is because you don't want to break the bill and you don't want to break the plastic part. And if they're already fragile, I'm going to really be, gentle with it.
Right.
And then if the foam, like this one's really perfect, but if that's deteriorated, and there is one here actually that is deteriorated. I actually cleaned this one. This is the K Products hat. And the foam was deteriorated. It was falling out. You can see residue of it.
Right.
And I just got it wet and just wiped it out. And now it's there. So before I would ship it, I would re-wipe it out to make sure. And then I'd put it in an 8x6x4 box and ship it. But it's in good condition. It's not stained or anything. It just needed the foam to be taken out of it. Some people won't take the foam out because maybe they want it that way.
Right.
And I always describe if it's really in bad shape, that it's a shelf sitter or a collectible. It's not an everyday wear hat because.
Okay, so you put that in the description and
if it's something
that in caps or something.
That one you could wear, but some that I have like rainbow bread that's really old or something that's just really deteriorated. It's more for the advertising. Maybe you work there or something, and you want it for that memory, not for anything else.
Right. John Jones says, is the phone replaceable?
No, I've never
No.
replaced any phone.
Okay. I wasn't aware if it was or not. Okay. That's a good question. Thanks for asking, John. Yeah, I would think it would be. So you say when you kind of like wet it and it kind of, I guess, deteriorates.
Sometimes,
falls out,
if you look at the trailer video on my channel, I have my trailer video is of me cleaning. It's a long video.
Okay.
Where I bought a bunch of caps for $0.25 or 50 cents a piece, State Farm hats, and a bunch of Winchester and Remington and Savage Arms, and just some really cool caps. And a bunch of them had deteriorated. The foam had. So as I immersed them in water, you would just see the foam just fall out of them.
Okay.
And then maybe you have to rub a little around the seams to get the rest of the residue of the foam out of it. And then again, you want to be careful handling the brim. That's the most gentle part of it, because some of them are already trying to crack, and you don't want them to crack because not everybody wants a cracked brim hat.
Right. I saw like you post. I don't know if it was. I think it was on your Instagram. You saw the Nike hat. I guess that was, or was that one of your videos? And you said it was pretty beat up, kind of damaged.
Yeah.
But I mean, how would you? I mean, I just could disclose that in the description, right? And
you just
disclose it in the title too.
I always put it on just about anything I sell. If there's a defect or something I think needs to be explained, or measurements for a shirt or pants,
right?
I always put C measurements or C notes below that in the tag. Because I want them to go to that. Now, not everybody reads that stuff, as we all know as resellers.
True. But
I put it in there, and then when you go down, if you see it, armpit to armpit for a shirt, or this cap has, is very fragile. It is not an everyday wear hat. If it's missing an arm, it's a Teenage Mutant Ninja, it's missing an arm. Maybe you didn't see that in the pictures. I want you to know, because I don't want the return.
Sure.
Because I don't do free returns. You're going to pay for it coming back if I did what I was supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. You see Chris's question about the dishwasher?
Dishwasher could destroy the hat.
Okay.
And I wouldn't do that. Especially if it's got value.
Right.
Now something like a Titleist hat, or, a newer ball cap, like this one here. Right. Yeah, you can throw that in the dishwasher. It's not going to hurt it. But something that's fragile, an old vintage hat that might have some value, I would just run a little thing of water like you're doing dishes, and just kind of TLC that hat and then hang dry it, because you definitely don't want to put them in dryers. They can really
dryers, and you say you don't put them in washers. I remember back in the day they had those little plastic things that would snap together over the cap.
Yeah,
I
don't use them. Right? I don't use them.
Okay.
A lot of people, they'll get, in the summer they'll get sweatband stains, and I do too, because I'm
I do. Yeah, especially on white bins.
I dump them in the sink and wash them for a little bit with soap and water, and then hang them up.
Right. So you just use a little Dawn dish soap, and maybe a little OxyClean or something, and a little maybe a scrub brush or something, or a little. You can use brushes too, right? Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Guys, if there are any questions you have in the chat, thanks Chris for the question, and John Jones. Anyone else? If any other questions we have? Well, we have Bob. You want to ask some questions about the hats? I want to get into a little bit into other stuff too. So, if you guys have any questions about hats, why don't you ask them now? And I want to get into something, because he sells video games. You do
speak
do a
now, forever hold your hat.
There you go. But you also do you still do plush? I know back in the day you used to do plush, right?
Yeah, mainly the plush I look for are really vintage, or they're Five Nights at Freddy's, they're Mario, they're Pokemon, they're that kind of stuff. I mean, I don't find a lot of that, and I do have a lot of it.
Okay.
Mainly it's ball caps, it's action figures like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, Star Wars, which I got lucky with 2 Saturdays ago. I was at a guy's sale, and I told you prior to the show, but I'll tell them. I know a guy that's a retired Marine. He's married to a lady that lives in the Philippines, and he's moving there permanently. Matter of fact, I think he left today. And he's been liquidating. I used to run into him at Goodwill all the time. And he had a building behind his house, an old metal building like a lot of people do. And then his house was just full of stuff, and he had to liquidate. And so I had been over there a few times and made a few deals and got some NASCAR stuff, T-shirts, clothing, stuff like that. And tapes. And well, the last day I was over there 2 Saturdays ago, I had just about exhausted everything he had. It was his last day, and there was a plastic shelf, and I looked up and I saw a box. I said, "Hey, what's in that box?" And he pulled it down. He didn't know, and he had mouse droppings because it'd been over in the shed. And when he opened it, I saw a bunch of model kits. And model kits, some of them have some value. And a lot of his stuff was older, so I thought, well, they're going to have value. And then I said, well, you got BB gun ammo boxes in here. Are there BBs in here? And he goes, no, those are Star Wars cards and figures. And I said, really? And he peeled back the corner of one of the boxes, and I saw an X-Wing fighter pilot with the orange suit from the 1977 Star Wars movie. And I knew immediately, because I've sold them before, what it was. And I just saw the one figure. And before I said anything, he said, $10 for the box. I grabbed that box as fast as I could get it out of his hands, ran home with it, and did a short video. It's on my YouTube channel. It's got about 2,500 views. Only video I've ever had that went that high. And when I got done, it was over $1,300 in Star Wars action figures and weapons, and a little bit of Battlestar Galactica, and then a bunch of cards, which don't have a lot of value. But the figures alone, I've already sold over $500. One on a local buy, the rest on eBay, and I've got a bunch of them left. So I'm going to make some serious.
Like 40,
so basically for $5.
Yeah,
just got lucky. And
yeah,
that's the key, is sometimes you just get lucky. You don't know, and you just ask. And if I hadn't asked, well, what's that box? I wouldn't have got it. So
again, and I bring this up almost every single show about networking, and technically it might not be networking. Is this somebody you just saw in Goodwill and just struck up a conversation and said
he had a Marine hat on, and I'm ex-Navy, and there's always a little thing between Marines and Navy.
Absolutely, yep.
So we always chatted with each other, and he was always buying stuff, but I never knew that he resold. I think he just bought it, and so I just said, when I saw that he was having this first yard sale, I went over there and he named the price. I mean, I always let the customer give me the price, so I don't feel bad,
Well, yeah, when you can, that's the way to do it.
And I didn't know what was in the box either, to be honest with you. I knew there were figures, but I didn't know to what extent.
Right.
I bought some a year and a half ago for $385, and there was some fighter jets and stuff in there that were worth some money. And I made some good money, but not like this.
Right. Yeah. Again, guys. So, I mean, it doesn't hurt to be nice to people. And I say it all the time. And some of you guys might think, oh, Adam's just trying to be a nice guy, but it's true. I mean, it benefits you quite often, pay it forward. If you're at a yard sale or something, when people are resellers, you can go up to them and say, oh, by the way, you're a reseller? And you start a conversation. Maybe they sell things that you don't sell, or vice versa. And you could say, how'd you make out? You've been to other sales in the area? I like to sell XYZ. Oh, they had them up the street. It doesn't hurt you to be. And then somehow, guys, and I tell you guys too, have business cards. You can use a Google phone number or a different kind of phone number or something. Maybe have it about reselling. So if somebody has a yard sale and you want to liquidate at the end and say, by the way, if you guys just want to get rid of everything at the end of the sale, make me an offer. I'll come and pick it up. You can do the same thing with other resellers.
Right. And there's a negative to it too. I mean, I've gone to sales this last summer where somebody would say, oh, you're that guy that looks for ball caps and video games. And I'm like, yeah, do I know you? Yeah, you were here last year. You forget because and now more people in my community know me as the cap guy. So
right.
Now people are trying to beat me to get the caps and that's the detriment for me, is that now I know they're looking for what I know. And so I have to fight them to get the stuff that I want.
Right.
So there is a negative and a pro to doing and telling people what you do. And I don't have a problem telling people, but there's a lot of people on Facebook that are mad at resellers or YouTubers in general, because we go out and tell people what we make. And I'm very transparent on Instagram every day with my sales and profits, which in the last month haven't been very good, except for maybe 3 or 4 days. And I promote and do everything else that I'm supposed to do. I list every day, 7 days a week. I do all the things that eBay asks. So this week I got a review from eBay asking me to review them. And I normally am very nice, but this time I actually gave them what I truly thought about eBay's platform in regards to returns and feedback and holding money and promoted and pushing our sales, the people that are paying for those things. Right. Because when you're paying 20-25% of your money to eBay to promote, you expect that those sales are going to come.
Absolutely.
And I'm not selling anything different than I did last year. and my sales haven't been as good. And I realize part of that's the economy and things like that. But eBay's got to do a better job, because Whatnot and other platforms are taking off, and they're gonna push eBay by the way, or at least down the ladder anyway.
Yeah. Are you still doing the promoted listings plus the 3%?
No, I'm doing it at different levels.
Okay.
But my sales are down about 24% over last year
Okay.
at this time. And again, I realize, COVID had something to do with sales being better. And now people are back to work. But I think once people get their taxes and the people that filed earlier are starting to get their money, they'll start spending some of that money. My last weekend was really good, but then the last 2 or 3 days have been slow. So, I have a saying, sales are sales, profit's profit, and I try to make a profit on every item I sell. It's not always what you want, but sometimes you make some good money like the Star Wars, and sometimes you buy bundles of video games, and some of them aren't worth very much. So you take what you can get to get some of that money back.
So I remember, I know you changed things up a little bit with sourcing and whatnot. Are you like 99%, you would say, probably on eBay? You just do a little bit of local sales right now?
I'm 100% eBay.
100%
Very
eBay.
rarely do I sell anything on any other platform.
So you don't mess with Facebook Marketplace or anything like that?
If it's something big, I'll do a local pickup, but I don't ship it. Now, I did ship a Ralph Lauren Polo's porcelain sign the other day that I found to somebody in Mississippi that I had on Facebook, and he begged me to ship it to him. And we took great care
Right.
in getting that packaged and got it to him, but he collected them. So I paid $5 and sold it for $200 plus shipping, but
Holy cow.
It was pretty big. It was a big and tall Ralph Lauren's, hung in a retail store type sign.
Okay. Well, I'm thinking about it. Can you just touch a little bit on maybe on shipping? We're talking. I think it's mentioned. I don't know if you mentioned to me or mentioned in the chat that you ship hats in a box. So why don't you just get a little bit in the shipping process that you do?
Well, for hats, I use an 8x6x4. I don't
Right.
do anything fancy. I put it in there sideways. I tilt it back with the brim up, and I don't crush the hat. And I've never had a problem with them. I used to ship them in poly bags. And so many people, not people that bought from me, because I never had an issue shipping in poly bags. But over time, I fell into the trap of everybody else by shipping them in boxes. But I used to ship them in poly bags. And like I said, I never had a problem with them. But if they're brittle, you don't want to do that. And if they're valuable, you don't want to do it. But I was doing it and never had a problem. But I do invest in the boxes. It's a write-off. And I do ship them in an 8x6x4. And then, beanies and stuff I'll ship in a padded envelope or something.
Right. But it's something that's like $20-$25. I ship in a box. And I used to, back in the day, I used to put air pillows. I used to put filler. And now, what's your thoughts on that? Do I need to do that? Or just I put it in an Elisa C. We always talk about the Walmart bread bags. So I put it in a Walmart bread bag, seal with a piece of packing tape.
Just like this, and I tilt it back with the brim up to where the box will close without touching any part of the hat in an 8x6x4. Most of them will fit, and I don't put any filler or paper or anything. And I over tape my packages. People have watched me in videos where I'm like anal with tape. None of my packages ever come open. And again, spending 35 years with trucking companies and working with, UPS and stuff, I know what to look for in a package, like double labels or not. Back in the old days when I first started in the business, when I got out of the military, everything was a 5-ply carbon. And so many times at Pure Letter Courier, who I started with when I got out of the military, people wouldn't print hard enough. And so you wouldn't be able to read the label. And the bottom label was the part on the box that was actually the part that went with the box. And so I can remember back where I grew in Austin, Texas, where I'm from, opening boxes because we couldn't read a label and finding $10,000 in cash in there and stuff, which was illegal to ship. So I always impress upon people, always when you're reusing other boxes, is to look for double labels, cover up anything that shouldn't be done, whether it's hazmat stuff, old barcodes of any kind, and then affix your label. I even tape my Rolo printer labels
do you?
On the bottom and the top where it doesn't cover the barcode, but I tape those, and my boxes are taped. I waste a lot of tape, but I tape my boxes to make sure they don't come open.
Could you just do a demo? I'm going to put you on full screen again. And why is it that you tilt it back? I had never heard that tip before.
Well, because it won't fit. If you put a ball cap, this ain't the right box. But
I use a bigger box. Maybe that's why.
Right.
Okay.
If I just put that box in there like that, it's not going to fit. So, and I don't want to cause it, especially if it's fragile, for the brim to get bent. Right. So I just tilt it, and I'll try to do this without tilting it.
Mine is an 8
but basically, I'm just tilting the cap so it fits, and it doesn't. When I close the box, it's not going to put any pressure on that hat.
Now, what about if it's a fitted hat? Will you still just put it in like that?
Yeah,
you have to, right?
Well, a fitted hat's even easier because a fitted hat, or even one that has a strap versus that, right. It just closes in like this, and I can get it in a
fitted hat. You don't fold.
A newer hat's not gonna damage. It's the old brittle foam caps that you got to worry about. Stuff like this, it just folds in, and it's
right.
I'm trying to find one that's not I don't have any here that are fitted, but I do wear fitted hats too. Those are really easy because you're not crushing anything but the brim.
Right. So I guess so you're basically doing that because you have a smaller box. I think I use an 8x6x10. So you use an 8x6x4?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why. So you can tilt it at like 45-degree angle, and that way you can ship it in a smaller box. It's just out of curiosity, is it that much cheaper? Are we talking 10, 15 cents a box, or it's just the way you do it?
No, it's just the way I've always done it. And again, I used to ship them in poly bags, 9 by 11 poly bags. So, but I did put foam or paper or bubble wrap in the back of the cap back here.
Right.
But I don't do that anymore. I just use boxes
in the box, right.
Regardless of the value.
Right.
My biggest thing with shipping is I ship every day, 6 days a week, every day. And if you buy it from me first thing in the morning, it's going same day. I'm
same day. Okay.
Customer service, big on shipping.
Another thing I say all the time is under promise and over deliver.
Yeah.
Like I said, you might have one day handling, but like I said, if you get it in the morning, you're shipping out the same. I'm not saying I'm going to do that, but again, that's over delivering. A
lot of times, if you ship on a Friday or even a Saturday, I live in Oklahoma. I could ship it on Saturday, and it could be in Pennsylvania on Monday because that's the way the system works. Just like in the freight business, when I was in the trucking, LTL trucking business, if we somebody shipped a pallet out on Friday, a lot of times it'd be in Pennsylvania on Monday, even though it wasn't supposed to be there till Tuesday or Wednesday. And they're going to go ahead and deliver it. So I've got packages delivered before where they said, "Man, you're faster than Amazon," and I'm like, "I'm just you bought it from me. I'm going to get it out to you."
Right.
That's my goal.
Okay, why don't we get in again to a little bit about the specialty of the caps and the different varieties that you said are better sellers. You mentioned to me before K Products, the Louisville manufacturer, and you had showed a stripe hat before. Why don't you just go a little bit through those again?
Well, again, I did a video that I showed on the screen, and if you just go to eBay and filter sold vintage ball caps, and change the value price above, say, $400 or $500 and up, you will see examples of what I'm talking about. K brand and K Products hats have value. And again, K Products are going to be in the snap of the cap right here.
Right, you said put it on the back inside of the snap, right, on the strap.
Yeah, and that don't mean that that's a valuable hat. I have a Kettle Restaurant, for those of you who remember those, 3-striper that I have not sold yet. But there are some that have value. This one, because it's an agricultural type hat, has a little bit of value. I think I've got it listed for like $45. But a lot of 3-stripers can go $400 or $500 again, depending on what's on the front of it. And again, if it's specific to somebody's memory, I work for that company, it doesn't exist anymore, or a U.S. Marine Corps one that's just really nice and they want it. I mean, I would never pay $1,500 for a hat, but if you will, I will ship it to you.
Right.
And so Louisville manufacturing, that's another one that's I rarely see those. And again, that's in the snap over to the side. And then the 3-stripers are just kind of neat, I guess, because they are vintage. I usually find those in rural towns when I go to rural town-wide sales, maybe 100-yard sale type deal, and I'm looking and I'm hitting these farmhouses, and you just ask, "Hey, do you have any old ball caps?" And a lot of times they don't. They're like, either they got rid of them because their dad died and I just threw them all away, and then you just cringe, or they say, "Oh yeah, I got a whole bag of them. Let's see if I can talk him into getting rid of them," And then they go in, "Hey, Wilbur, You gonna get rid of them
They
hats
will.
or whoever, And
Right.
so you deal with them, and hey, I mean, I'm
Yeah,
the
I mean,
same way.
if they're vintage, you can maybe pay a little bit more,
Right. I mean, I found last summer at a sale, the guy had a ton of them, and I found an Oklahoma Sooner one, which I'm a Longhorn. Found a Sooner hat with sports specialties, brand new with tags. I found a Dallas Cowboy one that was vintage in the plastic still, and I paid $1 a piece, and I sold them for like $90 a piece.
Wow,
So,
nice.
sports specialties are a huge brand too. I've sold San Jose Sharks for 170. I mean, some of those go for serious money.
Well, I guess, like I said, like vintage, different, vintage types of hats, like,
Yeah, and they're not
hats,
as
you
vintage
share
as
the
the
one.
three stripers.
Okay, but you show like maybe a World Series or a Super Bowl hat or something like that.
Well, I got another one right here that I got in a trade, and I haven't. This is an NBC Sports one.
Wow.
And that's Sports Specialties.
No
You'll
kidding.
see that
How about
logo.
that? Wow.
And this one's brand new, and it is listed on eBay, but I keep it back there in the backdrop to show people. But
sure.
I just think the colors and everything else on that NBC
really
logo are they're awesome, And it's still got the original sticker and all that on it. But sports teams, like I said, the San Jose one, I paid $2. I had no clue it had that kind of value till I got it home. And I don't always look everything up at yard sales. I just, if it's cheap enough, like last summer I was at
50 cents or a quarter or whatever, right?
Yeah. I mean, I was at
to get through and move on to the next yard sale. So
that's right. I'm trying to run. I'm a runner when I go to yard sales. Last summer I was at one of an NBC executive who had passed away, who ran a local engineering of a local station. Probably one of the best yard sales I've ever been to, and they just wanted the stuff gone.
Right.
And one of the things that they had was one of them little, if those of you that are older remember the NBC chime, ding, 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 it's NBC. Right. Well, they had a little NBC chime, and I thought it was a kid's toy when I first walked by. And then I heard him say that he worked for NBC, and I went, wait a minute, I just saw that. And I went over and I picked it up, and it was 50 cents. And it didn't have the little tong, so I bought it for 50 cents. I take a chance. I get it home. I sold it for $99 without the tong. It was an actual NBC tong. And they had a set of poker chips that were in a case. They were white with gold embossing. I had no clue what they were. I asked the lady what they were. She said, they're poker chips. I said, well, wait a minute. I'm a big poker player. These are American poker chips. She goes, no, I bought them when we were in Europe. They wanted $2. They were in a leather case. So I got them home. Didn't look them over really good until I got them home, and I opened the case and I see a gold logo that said Must Cartier Paris.
Oh, Cartier. Like, they were legitimate Cartier.
Oh, yeah. And I looked them up. There were none on eBay. I Googled them. They were $2,500 new.
Oh, my God.
I sold them to somebody in New Zealand about a month and a half later for $1,100. I paid $2. And it was just, again, you got to take chances on things that are cheap, that are unique.
$2. Yeah, it's like
you just never. If I'd have got $25, I'd have been happy, but I was really happy with $1,100. So,
was that your biggest flip? $2.
No, it's funny. A week later, I sold a pair of Russell Westbrook's band shoes for $1,200, and I could have sold them for triple that.
Really?
I paid $85 for them, and they were his. They were in his locker.
Oh, they were his. Okay.
When he left town, he left a lot of shoes, and NBA players don't pay for their shoes.
Right.
And I found a few pair. Goodwill had sold some. He donated a bunch, and I didn't know about band shoes, but I made like $300-$400.
What are band?
Band, or when you have a SKU code or in the shoe of a Nike or a Jordan,
right?
Like 45682-001. That tells you the brand or not the type of the shoe, mid, high, whatever. And if it doesn't have that, it's a promotional shoe. And a lot of people, especially in China, they want them. So I've sold, I think, 3 pair that I found so far. And, of course, you can never prove they're Russell's. He wears a 14.
I was going to ask you, you don't have a certificate of authenticity.
You don't. Okay. That's not what they're after. They're after the fact that they're promo shoes.
Okay.
And so they bought them. But with that same day I bought them for $85. I had offers above $600, and I kept turning them down because I'd done it before and made the mistake. And finally somebody said, I'll give you $1,200 right now. And I was like, wow, you know what? I paid $85 for them this morning. So I did it, made $1,000. And then about 2 weeks later, somebody said, I would have gave you $3,600 for them. And I was like, first you kick yourself, then you go, you know what, Bobby, you made $1,000 profit the same day. So you can't just dwell on the stuff you miss because you're not going to find everything.
I mean, I did talk about some other resellers, and we talk about things. It's like, sometimes it's like, this is a really good offer. I just, like I said, I paid $5 and somebody else offered me 200 for it. Maybe I'll sell it for 250 or 300. I mean, granted, yours was a big difference.
Right.
But maybe I won't. Maybe I'll sit on this thing for a year or 2 years. I'll never get that offer again.
Yeah, and it's funny because the things you think will sell quick may not be the things that sell quick, and the things that you think won't sell, you get big money for. So you take chances. Nobody knows everything about reselling, and me included, with 5,000 items. I just take chances, and if the bundle deal is good enough or the item is cheap enough, I will buy it and take a chance. I almost pulled the trigger on 200 and something precious moments yesterday, and they wanted $1,000. I was like, I am not going to. That's like dealing with Hot Wheels. It's going to take you forever to go through them. And I'm not doing that. And no way I'd pay $1,000 for it either.
The margin isn't that much on precious moments.
No, I mean, there's some out there that are retired that are worth money, but
right.
The time you spend, and some of them you're going to get 99 cents, $9.99. Okay. I'm not dealing with it. But there were some ornaments and nativity stuff. The only glassware I go after is usually Linux, Jewel Collection nativity sets. I found those before, and those go for good money.
Oh, so you pick up Linux?
Oh yeah, Linux. I mean, anything that has value, I'm going to grab. I just hate shipping glass.
Yeah,
that's just my own. That's just me. I want to ship stuff that's easy. Video game in an envelope, a little bit of bubble wrap inside.
Well, when we touch that a little bit, can you give us some? Again, guys, if you have any questions, ask Randy. We have a hard stop. I guess what, about 5 of you have to get out?
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah.
Okay. So if there are any questions for Bobby, why don't you ask Bobby in the chat and just put a Q in front. It makes it easier to locate. Why don't you just touch a little bit on video games? Maybe you can just some basic.
Well, and I'm not an expert because I don't play video games. When I was a teenager, video games didn't exist. Neither did cable, of course. That's how old I am. But I started learning about them, how to tell fakes and what games to buy and what not to buy. My favorite games to find, and now I've started collecting GameCube. I have about 150 of them. It's about a $5,000 collection. I've been here lately on Whatnot paying a little more than I want to.
Okay.
But I found some last summer, some Pokemon, Coliseum and bonus disc and Luigi's Mansion and Melee and all those for $1 a piece, and got lucky. And that kind of got me in the fever, because to me, GameCube is like stock. It's only going to get better and better because it's getting harder to get.
Okay, I was going to ask you, why is that? Because it's just...
And in 64, I enjoy, but again, I don't play much of them. I mean, I'm not good at it. I don't have the patience for it. If I play a video
you're not from that generation, neither am I.
Mario or golf, that's my video game. But I have every gaming console probably that you could name, and all behind me except for the X and the 5 are in my living room.
Do you test everything you get? Make sure it's working? Test everything?
Oh, yeah. I mean, most of them. And then I also have a JFJ Pro.
Disc cleaner.
But then I also invested in the Echo 2, so I have a $1,800 cleaning machine as well.
Yeah, I think I remember you saying that, or maybe on one of your posts or videos.
Again, it's a write-off. If you do enough business and you're going to do tax.
You have to do a lot for $1,800. Yeah.
Well, I did 119
what are JFJs these days? What are they about? I don't even know. $300-$400 for a JFJ?
No, they're less than $200.
Less than $200.
I need to sell mine. I need to get rid of it because I don't use it. I'm using the.
There you go, guys. And that's a reminder. I want to remind you guys that I have Bobby's YouTube channel and his Instagram in the description below. So again, I want you to check out Bobby's channel, YouTube channel. You said you're doing a lot on TikTok as well, right?
No, what I do if I do a short on
YouTube, you post
I'll throw it on TikTok and Instagram. And then I've done some silly stuff like danced on TikTok and stuff back in the day when I'm just a silly old man, I do whatever to get a laugh, but I don't have a big following. I have more followers probably on Instagram than any other platform.
Gotcha. So if somebody wants to reach out to you, I mean, even if they want the JFJ, the cleaner, reach out to you through Instagram.
Yeah, I haven't. I got to clean it up. I haven't. It's just, and it was just so messy. Right. And the other one is, if you do want to invest in one and you want to spend the money, I got it. I saw Lonnie had one. Okay. And I thought, man, but I do a lot more video games than Lonnie. Right. And I thought, if you're going to do this, then spend the money. And I'll tell you what, you don't even have to touch the video, the disc. Oh, you put it in, it dries it does everything.
Oh, it dries everything? Wow. Okay.
Everything.
Okay. I didn't really see any other questions. I just want to, why don't you just tell, again, we're touching on your YouTube channel and your Instagram. Why don't you just tell people a little bit about how they can find you and what kind of videos you do, et cetera, et cetera.
The Cap Guy and JT on YouTube, although he hadn't been a part of it as much, it's a puppet that I use, and we try to be comedic. If you want to watch the better videos, they're the older videos where we just come up with stuff off the top of our heads, and he kind of runs the show. We did songs, we did Chris Farley, we did John Belushi, we did stupid stuff. And then on Instagram, I'm the CapGuy_Oklahoma, and I just basically post some of my sales and my daily numbers, so I can show people that not every day is going to be a winner, but if you're making money, it's good. I'm retired and I do get a pension from UPS, so this is just a sideline thing for me. I use some of the money to live, but it gives me the option, or I get to go places I want to go, like Maui every year, or if I want to go buy something, I can buy it. I can afford to do it. For those of you that live on the money, it's a whole different ball game. Yeah. Don't jump into this full time until you're really doing well with it. And remember, there's going to be ups and downs, and you got to source the right stuff. Not everything will be, I've got 5,000 items listed, so you can, not everything sells every day, right. But my goal is to hit 150 profit a day, 7 days a week, and I list 7 days a week.
Right. Well, that's the key too. You got to list it to trigger that.
And you got to have
algorithms.
Goals.
Pardon me?
You got to have goals.
Yes, you got to set goals. Absolutely.
Hey, Danny May.
Okay, guys. If there are any other questions, last minute questions for Bobby, we'll just put them in the chat. Like I said, we kind of have. You're doing a show with whom tonight?
Angie Resales, and we got Tracy on tonight.
Okay. And is that on your channel or her channel?
No, it's on Angie's. Angie Resales.
Okay.
So, as a matter of fact, it's in about 8 minutes.
Okay. So, all right, guys. I don't want to keep Bobby too long. I just want to thank everybody for being here. I just want to remind you guys, I am not monetizing this channel. So, you guys are enjoying my channel and getting value from it. Please consider helping offset some of the costs. Greatly appreciate it. I have Buy Me Coffee, PayPal, and Cash App. There's also a link to Randy's website where you can buy coffee, tea, spices, and old-fashioned candy. And Randy is kind enough to pay me a little commission at no cost to you. You just put AE after your name when you register. So again, I always say time is your most valuable asset. I'd like to thank Bobby, of course, for his time. Also,
are you short on hours, Adam?
Yes, I am.
How many hours do you have?
I don't even look at it anymore, Bobby.
Oh. Run. For those of you that can run his video, I'll run your videos.
Yeah, I have playlists, reselling rhythms playlists.
Okay. Yeah, we'll run your videos. Now, remember, you got to run them off of mute. You cannot mute them.
Right, you have to have sound.
I get credit. We proved that point with Johnny.
Yeah, right. Johnny did a video.
I got my hours before I got my subs, and I wasn't making a video every day when I first started. So,
yeah, well, I'm not to get into the details. I have to start doing some recorded content and cut up some of these lies.
Yeah.
But anyway, I want to thank you all for being here. And again, don't forget to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, turn notifications on. And just a reminder, Bobby will be on with Angie Resells about a few minutes from now.
All right. Thanks, Adam, for having me on. Thanks,
please
everybody.
Keep that in mind and pop over in Angie's chat and check out Bobby.
All right. Thanks,
all right,
Adam.
Appreciate it. Thank you.